What's your favorite color?
Blue. I don't know why it took me so long to think of.
What's your favorite food?
My favorite food? French fries, without a doubt. But shoestring, like McDonald's or Freddy's or...
Okay.
Yes. That's how he always starts.
I said we need to start having some weird sections in there.
I love it. We should do like a blooper reel.
What's your favorite number?
3.
Why?
Because there's 3, the Trinity is amazing.
Oh
but
my gosh.
There's
Jesus.
me,
Because the Trinity
my older
of Jesus.
brother, my older brother, and my younger sister. So it's 3. But I also love Jesus. So
Jesus is even going.
And on the third day,
she said 3.
Hey, at least I didn't say 7, right? Isn't that like even the number of completion? Yeah, exactly.
Young adults, if you have ever wondered what you're here to do or what is your purpose, you are not alone. It's the number one question adults of all ages want answered. A few years back, USA Today asked a bunch of adults what they would ask God if they could ask him anything. And the number one question, what is my purpose here? Studies find that people who set and achieve goals into their 20s are more likely to report a sense of purpose and well-being in their adult lives. But you don't have to try to fit yourself into a mold. Instead, research suggests that identifying how your specific talents intersect with the needs of others is a step towards living a purposeful life. And that's what we're here to explore today with Cece Wooten. She is the Assistant Director at the Center of Career Development at Anderson University, and she's here today to help you identify your next steps towards a purposeful future. Cece, we're so excited to have you on the show today. Why don't you start off by telling us who you are and maybe what you do at Anderson University?
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having me, first of all. Yes, I serve as our Assistant Director at the Center for Career Development. So really, we help students in any way that we can related to their professionalism while they're in college and also after they graduate. So what that looks like for me specifically, I do career coaching, which is what you probably know, like a career center for if you ever think of one. So that's like your resumes and your cover letters and your interviewing. I also have the privilege of working with our external folks, so employer relations. So I help establish partnerships and form relationships with local, national, and international employers to really get our students the experience that they can, the best experience that they can have to propel them into whatever is in their future. So that could be internships, externships, shadowing experiences, jobs, anything of that nature. I do a good bit of professional development speaking in the classroom as well. So on topics of, networking and the importance of social media and how you build it related to yourself and your business or what you want to go into in the future. So that's a little bit of what I do. I kind of wear a few different hats.
So in short, you help young adults or people right out of high school get connected with whatever career, whatever life path they're looking on, right?
Yes, or at least I try.
And do your best job at it.
Yes.
So in this day and age, there's a lot of pressure on high schoolers. Even when I was in high school, which was many years ago, there's a lot of pressure on us to figure out what we're doing in our life at such an early age. Is that the right advice, or what's your opinion on that?
That's a great question. I think there is a lot of pressure put on high schoolers and those who are, freshmen or sophomores or, all the way through juniors, seniors in college, to really have it figured out. And to be honest, I think, coming from a faith standpoint, I think that if we had to have it all figured out by the time we were 13, 14, 15, then where would our need for dependence in the Lord be? But also that is just a really heavy burden for anybody to carry it. Honestly, no matter what age that you are, because you could hit your early 40s and want to completely change career paths and excel in that. So I think that some of that pressure needs to be taken off and know that our gifts and our skills adapt and grow over time. And it's definitely not something I did not know what I wanted to do in high school, and who knows what the Lord has for my future. So I think that pressure can be alleviated, or should be alleviated.
Another thing we hear a lot of parents say, or a lot of advice is given to younger people, is just follow your passions, follow what you're good at. You're a good musician. Hey, you're going to be a rock star. You're a good baseball player. Hey, you're going to be a Hall of Famer, right?
Right.
So what's the risk of just following your passion? Is that something we should all follow, or is there a risk with that?
Yes. I think yes and is a good answer to that question. I think that a lot of times we have skills that we're just naturally better. Like, I am never going to be that athletic superstar. That is not how I am built. That's not how I'm wired. And so I know that, I'm never going to pursue a career in sports or in sports broadcasting or whatever have you. However, I think that we have a tendency to see what we're good at and to want to capitalize on that, which is in a lot of ways a great thing. But we kind of get pigeonholed into, I can only do this one thing, or I can only be this one thing that's set before me because I've done it all my life, or because my parents have done it. And I think that there might be gifts that come across, that are developed later in our life, that could really be where our true passions lie in the future. And so I think it's great to capitalize on what you're good at, but I also think it's really great to explore other opportunities as well. And not to shy away from something just because it's new. Because a lot of times, that's where you do the most beautiful growing, right? Is when something is new, when it's fresh, and when you're challenged. So it's kind of a yes and thing in my opinion.
So let's take it on the other side of things. Let's say that my dad is a doctor and his dad is a doctor, and I feel this pressure of going down the path that my whole family has gone down through their entire generations. Or maybe my family owns a business and I feel this pressure of taking over the family business, but maybe that's not the right step for me.
Yeah.
What's your advice for somebody there?
Yeah, that's a really hard question to answer, but also a good one, because you have to ask yourself the tough questions when you find yourself in situations like that. I think that, there's a level, obviously, of respect you want to show your parents. And, if it is something along the lines of a family business or something that they see within you. But also you have to consider the fact that we're all built and wired differently, right? So, you have to take your personality into consideration. You have to take your interests into consideration, because if you, get 5-7 years into that job that is your family business, you might be miserable and you might be really terrible at serving the clientele or the audience that business is built to serve. When in reality, somebody could fill that position a heck of a lot better than you could. And you could be doing something different that is operating in your skill set and in your giftings. So I'm not saying that those family businesses or those expectations can never work out, but I would stop when you're young. And I would ask yourself the question, what do I want to do? What have I been built and designed to do when I am at my best? And then also ask other people you trust the same kinds of questions. That way you can make an informed decision. And you can, if you have to have those hard conversations down the line with your parents or your grandparents, you are well equipped to say, hey, here is what I am really good at. Here is how I am built and what I am called to do. And it makes those conversations a little bit easier to navigate in the future.
So we focused a lot on career and college, but what would your advice be if somebody who said, hey, college isn't for me. I'm looking for something else?
Yes, absolutely. And it's not for everybody, truly. I think there's so many other options, right? I got told recently that, it can feel like college or bust is kind of the mentality that we're instilling in young people these days. And that is simply just not the case, it shouldn't be the case, excuse me. There are so many options out there. You may want to go to trade school. There may be something that you're very interested in that regard, and you can specialize and hone in on one skill, and that's what you do with your career and with your future. And you might do it for a few years and then decide to transition into a different trade, or then go to school if that's something that you so choose. Some people, I mean, I have great friends who have chosen to take a gap year in between high school and whatever is next, whether that's college or something different, to either work and save up some money. They've done traveling. Some of them have done different internship or residency programs to really figure out what they are passionate about and what they have been called to do. You also have those who really just are not interested necessarily in stepping into a full-time career. And at the end of the day, they want to be a stay-at-home mom or dad. And you have to think logistically, how that works as a young adult. But that is also a beautiful and wonderful calling. So there are so many other options out there than just college and then career. And I think consider those, don't make the Lord so small that you take those things off of the table. If that is what he has asked you to do, go into it very thoughtfully and prayerfully before making an immediate decision.
So I was reading in a book this morning. It's funny that we had this podcast episode today, that we live in a culture that worships work and worships career over God. What would your advice be to always keep God first over the career? I mean, that summarizes it really easily, but you want to speak into that?
I would advise you to give me that book because I need to read it more than anybody. No, I see this in those who have been in their careers for years, and then I see it in people who are younger than me, that they are running themselves ragged to accomplish something, whether that be obtaining a specific salary or being able to go on their LinkedIn profile or to other professionals and say, hey, look what I did, but at the cost of their relationship with the Lord, at the cost of their relationship with their families. And it's sad and it's heartbreaking. I think that work is a beautiful thing. I think that the Lord created it, and it is, work happened before the fall, right? I mean, it existed before the fall. But after the fall, we've made it, this idol a lot of times. So I would say prioritize rest. And again, I'm talking to myself here when I say this. It's not something I'm great at. I have to work on all the time, but prioritize rest. Prioritize, make the ultimate thing. So that would be your relationship with the Lord, your family. And then make sure that work is important to you. You don't want to be lazy, but you also want to make sure that it is not your ultimate thing, because it will very quickly become an idol in your life if you don't watch out and proactively protect against that.
Oh, that's awesome. As we wrap up, I got a very important question.
Yes.
That I want to end with.
Okay.
When you were young, what did you want to be when you grow up?
Ooh, it changed a lot for me. I would say from the youngest I can remember, I wanted to be a vet because I loved animals.
You didn't have like a dream, crazy, aspirational.
I mean, yeah, I went through, don't judge me here.
I want to be a vet.
I did. My next option is superstar Hannah Montana.
That's what I wanted.
Okay, that was my next answer.
I wanted to end it on like a lighthearted
Great,
note.
love it. But I think counter question or a special feature here on the podcast. Can you sing a Hannah Montana song for us so we get a sample of it?
I'm trying to think of what the theme song.
You get the little.
I actually didn't know that one, but I'm glad that you know that. And I think that's an awesome way to end this podcast. So thank you for hanging out with us today,
yes,
CC. Thank you guys for
listening,
for watching us. You can stay connected with us at foothills.cc/Hills and Hollows. We're on iTunes, we're on Spotify, we're on YouTube, we're wherever your podcasts are found. But until next week, we'll see you guys soon.